College basketball is back.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
The SEC, ACC, and beyond.
Oh, you saw that coming, Rapids.
The biggest games play right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Friday. Mostly sunshine the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour out of the south, and look for it to be 67. Tonight there will be mostly clouds with the temperature reaching 62. A chance of thunderstorms tomorrow with the high of 70. This weather is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Beach Pizza, formerly Marcy's Pizza, is back with more hours and more pizza. Beach Pizza has new owners and now open every day, 11 to 11. Pizza by the slice, whole pies, wings, pretzels, garlic knots, and more choice eats in East PCB. I finally tried a slice, and it was a thin crust, totes, cheesy slice of paradise. 8815 B Thomas Drive, online at beachpizzapcb.com. Call ahead, 850-775-4053.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design for you. Operation in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast-charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX London, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
Live and local.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
This thing is going to be a financial and cultural disaster.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Whopper, 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 whopper.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. ESPN Northwest Florida.
What is going on, Northwest Florida? You're now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and the Bone Crusher, and we're taking your calls this afternoon at 850-215-6290 on your home for the SEC champion Auburn Tigers on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. And the Auburn Tigers will be hosting, they will be hosting the Alabama Crimson Tide tomorrow afternoon, and coverage will start at 1 o'clock for a 1:30 p.m. tip, and that should be a really good game, a really big game for the SEC. We'll see how it ends up playing out. Caveman Rick, how are you doing on this afternoon?
I'm doing great, man. It's Friday. We're here. I'm off of work, my regular job, just chilling now. Some nice weather outside before this, crappy weather comes in this weekend. Where it's supposed to rain all weekend.
Bad weather coming in for the weekend?
Yeah, I believe it's supposed to rain most of the weekend, if not all of it.
I looked outside and I thought it was rain outside this morning, but that wasn't.
That's called a broken water main or broken pipe.
Broken water main, absolutely. We've got a different type of a show lined up for you guys this afternoon. We have Preston Beston and Spider coming in to tell us about the Don Fargo Memorial coming up at the Possum Palace this Saturday. So they will join us from about over there in Walsall. They'll join us from 4:40 to 5. It'll be me and Caveman Rick until then, and then we'll have Coach Brian Haddad. We'll have Jimmy, also known as he's got to be the Pharaoh.
The Pharaoh,
right?
man. Yeah.
Monty and Pharaoh. So they'll be talking a lot of wrestling for you guys from 5:20 until the end of the show this afternoon. Basically recapping Elimination Chamber and one of the biggest heel turns, I would say second biggest heel turn of all time, right there behind Hulk Hogan, because now John Cena, I guess he went from you can't see me to you can see me.
Don't know much about his history.
He was like, well, you had me until you started talking wrestling.
I thought he was kind of like already kind of heel. Like, what was his name before? CM Punk or something like that?
No, two different wrestlers.
Oh, is it? No, I thought it was the same dude. My bad. So like I said, it shows how much I know. I followed it until I was about 12, 13 years old. And then, not to knock the wrestling fans out there, I started watching, sports that actually had, unpredetermined outcomes that were like, a little bit more on the real side, if you will. So.
And you can call in right now and talk with Caveman Rick, 850-215-6290. One of the biggest wrestling memories that you have has got to be the latest Wrestling Against Cancer, huh?
Yeah, definitely. That was a pretty cool event. We were there, got to see some wrestling, like I said, I'm not the biggest wrestling fan out there, anymore, but that was still cool to see, though. It was a lot of good, matches. You getting in the ring, too, getting tossed in the ring, and then what was the move that you did?
I mean, so many people called it so many different things. I was kind of paying homage, if you will, to DDP, so I would have called it the cutter.
The cutter?
But if you want to call it the stunner, if you want to call it
you should call it the hazer.
The hazer. Right, I hazed him out of his mind, Cali man. Hey, you don't want to see me, Cali man, and maybe we'll have to wait till next year to get that going. But
the DH, designated hazer.
Actually, I do actually like that quite a bit.
It goes back to baseball.
What I'll also say is what those guys do. Nah, that's not for me. It takes a lot. Did it take a lot out of my body? No, I was in there for 30 seconds. You know?
Oh, it took a little bit out of you. I could tell, man.
Oh, no, right. A little bit out of me. But think about doing a whole match. Or think about, I don't have time for any of that.
I'm kind of wondering, okay, so a lot of the stuff that they do is on par with Hollywood stuntmen, okay? So why don't we see more guys that were in Hollywood doing a lot of those stunts for movies transfer, or that translate into wrestling?
I think that when you look at, I think that's actually a really good point. When you look at Hollywood, right, and you look at the stuntmen, those guys, though, they're just doing the stunts. For wrestlers, they have to,
the personality.
Exactly.
But if you're around the movie business, don't you think, they're acting, you're around a bunch of actors, you would pick up on some of that stuff? You know what I'm saying? It kind of, it goes hand in hand, kind of on par.
If that's what you want, though. There's some people who just want to be stunt actors, right?
Oh, yeah,
and they just want to do the stunt. They don't want to do anything extra. And then, again, I would imagine, this is just kind of me, you make a lot more money doing just stunts for Hollywood, more so than what you do for indie wrestling.
Maybe on the indie side, but when you get into the pro ranks of wrestling, there's a lot of money to be made, a lot of star
power. That you do to get to the pro ranks, I mean, it takes a lot of working to get to that level.
I mean, I feel that too, but like I said, if you're a professional stuntman, like the Fall Guy, kind of like the old TV show, not the half-ass probably movie they just came out with recently. I didn't even waste my time with that, but I am familiar with the old, TV show from back in the day. I would think it would be pretty easy. You know what I'm saying? To go from one to the other. I mean, you're already most of the way there. You're a professional stuntman, and some of the stunts that those guys are doing too. I mean, it outweighs what the wrestling guys are doing. When you're talking guys jumping out of buildings, lighting themselves on fire, driving cars like off of ramps and doing stunts like that, and still, getting out and walking away. I'm not knocking the wrestlers, like, trust me, but maybe just they don't have the physique, I guess, because you got to have that too for wrestling, maybe, But I've seen back in the day,
have some
when I was younger, though, there was some wrestlers that didn't have that, built physique like The Rock or what have you, that were still out there and were still able to do the stunts and the moves. Of course, they didn't just wear the Speedo, if you will. They were a little bit more covered up because obviously they didn't have the physique, so they weren't showing skin and bones or whatever. But I've seen guys that were probably built, I don't know, maybe a little bit bigger than us doing pro wrestling.
It don't take much to be bigger, built bigger than us, though.
So I'm just saying, there should be a market there, you would think, for that.
We are live from the Bendian's Best Move Studios. Give Quentin a call at 850-583-0814 if you need to get your move on. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also like and share the Facebook feed and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can download the app and register just at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida in your Google Play or your Apple Store.
And quick, just to add on top of that, I remember back watching wrestling when I was younger too. Some of the managers got involved in some of the stunts on there,
right?
Mouth of the South,
Hayes, right?
Like yourself, the guy with the megaphone and whatnot. So I mean, and those guys weren't built, and they were out there and they were doing the same stuff. So why not? Maybe we should ask the wrestling guys later about that and see what they think.
We can absolutely do that. I would say let's wait till the 5 o'clock segment right there, and because we're gonna have Jimmy and Coach Brian Haddad before we get Monty and Pharaoh on the line, and they're going to talk about whatever it is that they, at that point in time, we're just kind of freeloading at that point. Stuntman wrestlers, Terry Funk.
Yeah, that's an old school name right there.
So what do you think? Do you think that the people who are in Hollywood doing acts and whatnot, do you think what exactly what it was what was it that you were trying to say?
The stuntmen in Hollywood, the guys that do professional stunts for movies, it's on par with what these wrestling guys are doing, or on a grander scale. Like I said, jumping off of buildings and stuff. I mean, you got guys that go off the top rope. They have those ladder matches where they're up on ladders and what have you. But not to the extreme that real movie stuntmen do. I mean, you have actors and stuff too, like Tom Cruise, who basically does all of his own stunts, or as many of them that I guess he can do. And so if he's even doing it, that just lends itself to show you that there's people out there that can do that kind of stuff, and you don't have to be a 6'4", 6'5", size guy that goes 250 that can bench 600 pounds or something like that to be in wrestling. You could just be kind of an average dude.
Well, one of our listeners comes in and says, please show the man when Jacob Fatu does his moonsault at 6'2", 285 pounds. I have to disagree with you a little bit, Caveman Rick, that could, I don't even know, what do you call him?
Call what?
The
stuntman?
Stuntman, yeah.
Professional
I don't
stuntman.
think that they could do wrestling. Thank you. I needed that. I don't think that stuntmen could come in and do what wrestlers do, because it takes a lot more than that. And I think that that's what a lot of people get lost on, is it takes entertaining a crowd while also being very athletic and being able to carry the crowd while doing some very impressive moves.
I just don't think you've seen enough, or there's not enough of those guys wanting to try or have done it. I honestly think there's been enough stunt people in the professional ranks of doing movies and whatever that there should be at least a handful of people that can handle being in the WWE or whatever branch of wrestling you think is out there.
There's more than a few. I'm checking Reddit now, man. There's a lot of wrestlers that are also stuntmen in Hollywood.
See, I will agree with that, though. Wrestlers doing stuntmen stuff.
Or did they start as stuntmen, or did they start as
vice
wrestlers?
versa? I'm not.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
between-
a lot of pro wrestlers, they're like has-been guys that didn't make it, like in football, for instance. You know, they tried and they couldn't hack it in the NFL or whatever, or in college, and then they went on to doing wrestling.
They're great athletes nonetheless.
Well, yeah, exactly right. But I'm still saying, but that wasn't their first choice of what they were wanting to do with their lives. You know what I'm saying? I think the vast majority of them didn't grow up saying, "Hey, I want to be a wrestler." It was like, "Hey, they were doing football, they were doing this or that. It didn't pan out for them. But hey, what else can I get into that I can use my athleticism, my physique, and stuff to make myself some money and parlay that into something else?"
100%. I will not disagree on that. But how many of us are actually doing what our first goals were?
Hardly anybody, man, because most people were like little kids. Everybody wanted what? Be an astronaut, a firefighter, or being like, you know, all kinds of grandiose things that didn't pan out. You know what I'm saying? But, you know.
I'll even say, as someone who's doing like a lifelong goal, this was not my first, this is not, first off, it was baseball. Be a baseball player. Secondly, I wanted to get into sports medicine. Thirdly, I wanted to get into being a lawyer until I found out how much like lying was like their you know what I mean? Like how you get around as a lawyer is by basically lying, and that's where I was
Sorry,
like, yeah,
Morgan.
I can't. I don't care about sorries or anything. It's just once I got represented by one, I was like, oh yeah, no, this I can't do this. Like you're telling me to lie right now, and I can't do that. Not have, you know,
yeah, I mean,
I can't go to sleep at night knowing that lying is gonna be what, you know, makes my brain.
First thing I wanted to do that I knew I could do as a child that was like a professional thing was
milkman
fishing.
Oh,
okay, because I knew I could fish really well. But I mean, when I was 7, 8 years old, I was out fishing my father. You know, and I thought that was like, you know, totally badass that here I am, this kid, and somebody else has been fishing his whole life and I can catch bigger and better fish than him. That's pretty impressive, right? Not to mention, like, you know, as I got older, but they didn't have the outlets like they do now where you can go to school and you can go to college and they actually have degrees and they have programs where you can go and do that kind of thing. Then the next thing, when I was a kid, I loved video games and I was badass at games like playing Nintendo and stuff, right?
Wrong generation caveman.
Exactly. If I could have parlayed that and they had the kind of esports and the things that they have now, who knows what I could have been doing as a kid. I mean, my parents used to give me crap all the time about playing video games, but if they knew it could turn into like me making millions of dollars, I'm sure they'd say, hey, here's some more video games, kid, play yourself away. You know what I mean?
Wasn't that one of the things, though, too, from our parents was you need to quit playing those video games. Quit playing those video games. And now, where we're at, had we maybe taken them a little bit more serious, could we be at a different level? Maybe, maybe not. Because I think that for someone to get really good at video games, to really make money off of video games, you have to be really good at streaming as well. Like Kai Cenat, he just had a whole daggum segment with Stephen A. Smith. Right? It takes someone who has the entertainment value to be popular as well.
Or you just get into a tournament. If you play Madden really good, you get into one of those tourneys or something.
I don't think that being good at video games is what the people want, though. It's being
That's what I wanted.
Well, no, what I'm trying to say is where the people get popular today, it has nothing to do with being really good at the video game. It's being good at the video game, but also being being someone who can entertain the people.
That's like being an influencer on like one of these social media platforms, though. I think it's just like anything else. If you're good and you win enough, trust me, there'll be followers and there'll be money there to follow if you're that good.
I kind of disagree with you because can you name me anyone who's like really good at video games and wins all the time?
Well, I can't now because I haven't followed it as much as I was when I was like 13, 14, 15 years old, you know?
Right, but I would say that you have a better chance of if there's a mugshot of people across the wall, I would say that you have a better shot of naming influencers on the wall more so than what you do people who are good at video games.
Maybe so, but like I said again, like it's like Q ratings, right? Depending on how things are, right? So you got a guy like Tom Brady who's pretty popular here in the States because of football, right? But you go against the rest of the world, there's people like Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi that are going to have a way higher Q rating and are going to be well known more around the world because of soccer, because it's a bigger sport around the world as opposed to just here in the United States. So it also depends on where you're at or what you're into, I think.
ESPN Northwest Florida presenting the Big Bracket Challenge. You can take your madness to the next level. Compete in the ultimate bracket buster against other ESPN Northwest Florida listeners and staff. Just go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Big Bracket Challenge. All you got to do is listen to Selection Sunday, coverage starting at March 16th at 5 p.m. Then fill out your brackets, go to ESPNPC.com and click Big Bracket Challenge. For more fun, invite your friends and coworkers to join the madness. That's brought to you by Panama City Toyota, PCB Hobby, and Pepsi. And my big question to you, K-Man Rick, why haven't I seen your name in the Big Bracket Challenge yet?
Well, because we got time still.
We don't.
Yeah, we do. I mean,
we're looking to get 100, and we need to get that as soon as we possibly
put it this way.
can.
You know I'm going to be in it, right? So, like, whether I'm in it today or I'm in it next week, I'm still going to be one of the ones in there. Probably won't do the greatest, though, because I'm not the biggest, college basketball
I think that gives you an upper hand. Yeah, Bone Crusher, don't you agree? If you know less about college basketball, coming into March
last
Madness.
year, we had this little old lady win. Yeah, sweet little old lady. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But yeah,
wasn't it Jackson State Jeff's wife?
No, that was maybe when we were at the old station.
Okay, my bad then. But
women
shout out to
beat
Jackson
men
State Jeff
in our big bracket.
Essentially, I think that your best opportunity to win is if you are a woman.
I just think if you're impartial in respects where you don't have your heart in it, where you're not picking your team or your favorite team, even when you know that maybe they might not have the best shot, or in a particular matchup they might not win, but you still go with them, because I find it hard to pick against my teams. Whether it's gambling or, any other pick'ems and stuff like that, you always want to pick your team to win. You don't ever want to pick your team to lose.
That kind of goes back into a conversation that me and you were having the other day. Like, you hate people who have like a bias, like there's the SEC bias or whatever, and you can never have that in the NFC East. And for me, that's a totally different thing. It's like, I don't really care about the SEC winning or not, but if we're in the middle of bowl season and it's, Mississippi State versus Iowa, and I don't feel like Iowa's got a clear shot of winning, I'm going to take Mississippi State just on the fact that Mississippi State is in the SEC.
Yeah, and I think that's a Southern type of mentality, because it seems like people down here think that way. Me and Johnny Yankee were going back and forth and having the same conversation, and that's what spurred the conversation between you and I. And him being from the Northeast as well, he thinks exactly the way I do. He's not going to root for a rival no matter what the situation is. I don't care what's going on. I am never going to root for Dallas. I am never going to root for the Commanders, and I'm never going to root for the Giants, right? I find it difficult when the Giants were playing the Patriots, two teams that I couldn't stand. I wanted the meteorite to hit the stadium and wipe both of the teams out, because I didn't want to see either team win, So, I mean, I can't get behind, I'm not going to like you for 10 games during the regular season of the college football season, but now that my team's eliminated, I'm going to root for you or have an interest in you wanting to win. No, never. I'll never want that to happen. I'm a fan of my team and my team only. I don't want to see anybody else win. And once we're eliminated, I don't want to see any of my rivals win.
Question for you, K-Man Rick. With that in mind, what do you think about players that fraternize with the other team during a game? Like, you might see baseball players practically hug each other.
Yeah, hate it.
Yeah.
You're supposed to not like those people. And then that also lends itself to more rivalries. Why do you think that we don't have the rivalries in sports that we did have, say, 20, 30, 40 years ago? It's because of this camaraderie, because they want to swap jerseys. Look, if you're on the other side of the sidelines or the other side of the field and you're wearing the opposing colors, it should be like gang warfare, buddy. I got my colors, you got your colors. We don't see eye to eye, and we're going to throw down, and I'm going to stick you if I can.
Nice. Bloods and Crips. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that and anything else that we can wrap our minds around here when we get back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the sports talk and line play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Friday. Mostly sunshine the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour out of the south, and look for it to be 67. Tonight there will be mostly clouds with the temperature reaching 62. A chance of thunderstorms tomorrow with the high of 70. This weather is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
God, guns, and wrestling. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back in the doghouse. It's David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and the Bone Crusher, and we are your home for select Orlando Magic games. We had the Magic fall to the Bulls last evening, but we are also your home for the Auburn Tigers. They have a big game against the Alabama Crimson Tide, and that will be tomorrow. Coverage starting at 1 p.m. for a 1:30 tip-off. 850-215-6290 is the number to call. And we're looking for what very easy trivia question this afternoon, Caveman Rick. It's the hockey trade deadline, so why not bring a little hockey into the mix? What 1992 sports movie starred Emilio Estevez, was produced entirely in Minnesota and followed a team of ragtag young Minneapolis athletes?
That's a tough question.
Exactly. It's not the Mighty Geese. I will tell you that much. 850-215-6290.
Yeah, Emilio. Crazy name, right? Kind of crazy.
Correct.
He's related to the Sheens, right?
Charlie?
Yeah, and his dad, Martin. And the reason why he came up with that name was because of nepotism. He didn't want nepotism. He didn't want to get into movies because of who his dad was. He wanted to make it on his own. So he used that name instead, and that's the story I heard. So it sounds pretty cool. Pretty stand-up guy, too, I think, if you're going to do something like that, because he could have had a lot easier road had he not done that.
Hey, there you go. Well, we have Michigan Eddie on the line with us. Michigan Eddie, you are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's going on, my friend?
Go Blue Truck Series, we're going to throw these back. Detroit Tigers are going to take the AL Central, bro. I mean, I'm getting hyped for opening days coming up. Tigers looking south.
You're going to put money on that?
Spring training got you that excited, my friend?
Dude, and then Eddie's doing rehab. Hopefully he'll be back on the bump in May to start pitching again, bro. And then get ready for football and hope maybe, in July, August. So, hey, it's looking good, bro.
All right, well, let's take a pause on you real quick, Michigan Eddie. We're going to go over to line 2, and we're going to take Jeremy for trivia. Jeremy, are you with us? All right, never mind. Jeremy, are you with us?
I guess Jeremy didn't speak on the radio tonight.
All right, well, Michigan Eddie, keep on rolling then, my friend.
I was just at the hobby with Brian, ESPN Brian.
ESPN Brian. I think we're going to be seeing him at 5 o'clock. We'll call him 5 o'clock Brian.
Yeah, actually, he just left the hobby. He's saying he was coming on the air to talk wrestling and all that with you in the 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah, probably had to leave now because of traffic.
Yeah, well, traffic's not that bad, So I'm on the beach, by therapy place. So traffic's not as bad as what you would think on a Friday afternoon or evening. It's not that bad.
Oh, there you go. So you think that the Tigers are going to go ahead and win the Central?
Yep, I do.
I think
Yes, I do. Yes, indeed.
I'm going to go Kansas City Royals.
Of course you would.
Hey, let me ask you a question real quick, Eddie. Since you're a Northerner, even though it's Midwest, okay, and you're a Michigan fan, now when Michigan or any of your pro teams are out of the race, say, in any of the sports out there, are you going to root for a rival team just because?
I'm not an SEC homer, bro. No. I'm not going to root for the Packers. I'm not going to root for the Bears. I'm not going to root for the Vikings.
No, we're not. No, we have to take this out of NFL, though, and we have to go to straight college. If you have, let's say it's Ohio...
No, I'm not rooting for Sparty. I'm not rooting for the Suckeyes. I'm not rooting for the Irish.
Exactly.
All right, so, but here's my question. But no, see, here's the thing. I'm not rooting for Tennessee. I'm not rooting for LSU. I'm not rooting for Auburn. However, if I have Tennessee versus Ohio State, and both of them are comparable into how I feel, like if I got to flip a coin, then I'm going to take the SEC bias there. Do you take the Big Ten bias if it's a flip a coin pick for who you got to pick? This guy doesn't know college football. He doesn't like college football, so there's that.
Well, I'll tell you, if it's between the school in Columbus over another school, I'm not. I hope they lose.
Right, that's how I am about Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU. However, if it comes, I hate Ohio State almost as much as I hate any other school, but I will also say it's because of their winning ways, and they just improved that this last year.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I was listening to Caveman Rick earlier, and I'm not going to root for my rivals and stuff just to root for them because my team's not in it.
Yeah, well,
no, and you're right. And it's camaraderie. I mean, these guys, you got to understand, Caveman Rick. Though I'm not decided on this. If they share jerseys after the game, you got to understand. A lot of these guys have known each other since Little League days, and high school days, and college days. So they're friends. You know what I mean? So you can't break that brotherhood. You know what I mean? It's like you look at Mosley, Arnold, all these kids know each other. They all play Little League ball together.
Right.
And you see them after the games chatting up and all that after a hard-fought victory or a hard-fought loss, whatever. And they're still friends at the end of the day. So if they're swapping jerseys and stuff like that, with a buddy, that's different. You know what I mean?
Swap the jersey. I'm cool with that. Just don't do it on the TV or on the cameras where everybody can see it. Do it back behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying?
No, but that's where they do it, because then they go to the locker room, then they got to shower, do the media interviews and all that, then hit the plane if there's an away team or whatever. So the best time to do it is on the field, because then they got other obligations that they got to tend to post game, so they don't have time. So the perfect time to do it is on the field before they split their separate ways.
All right. I mean, if you want to feel that way, that's fine. I'm just saying I don't want to see it. I want my team to, hate the other team on the other side. I don't want them hugging and kissing and, being best buddies. I want to see them actually go out there and play and fight like they can't stand each other.
What about Magic and Isaiah Thomas back in those days when the Lakers and Pistons had those battles? They used to kiss before every game. Remember that? In the late 80s, early 90s?
Well, when you say kiss, do you mean fighting kiss?
No,
Morgan
says, they kissed on the cheek.
Kiss on the cheek? What were they doing kissing on the cheek?
Google it.
Google it?
I mean, they were best buds until the Olympic debacle thing happened.
Yeah, that's all because of Jordan.
Jack Patterson always wanted to be a stunt man. I think we're going to try to go back over to the phone line real quick for trivia, if that's possible. Do we, Bone Crusher, do we still have Jeremy on the line? No, we do not have Jeremy on the line, so we're going to stay here with Michigan Eddie. Michigan Eddie, what is it that makes you feel like the Detroit Tigers are the class of the AL Central. I mean, you got the Kansas City Royals there with Bobby Witt Jr. The Tigers had a great run late in the season last year. What makes you and actually, let me ask you, how far of a run do you think they can make?
I think they can go as far as they want to go. World Series or bust. And they should have beat the Indians. They had that series won. And then the wheels kind of fell off there, you know? They had them won at Comerica Park in, Game 4. And then they went back Game 5 and obviously lost. And they could have, they would have taken down the Yankees. And Tigers are Yankee killers in the playoffs. From the Mago Dornias, Cabrera days and all that, we've taken them down, you know? And then we would have beat the Dodgers. We played the Dodgers.
You would have beat the Dodgers at what? Tic-tac-toe?
No, dude, you know, AJ Hinch is a mastermind at that bullpen.
No, he's a mastermind at buzzers and you know, trash cans.
Whatever. What I'm saying is, I mean, Tigers play the Dodgers tough in the regular series. Dude, the Tigers were down like 9-2 one game and came back to win that game in Comerica Park. You know? And, dude, I'm serious, man. I just have belief in my Tigers, bro. They're back. Detroit sports is back.
That's called fandom. That's called fanatics.
I mean, no. The Pistons, best turnaround in the NBA. Tigers went from a 0.2% chance at the trade deadline to making it to the divisional series. You had the Lions, who had an unbelievable season, but Murphy's Law happened, and they just...
Lions are Lions, buddy.
No, everything that could went wrong that game. It was just the worst game happened at the wrong time. You know?
Let me ask you this. Michigan Eddie, now without Aaron Glenn, now without Ben Johnson, do you think that the Lions could be in trouble when it's just all on Dan Campbell?
Next man up, man. Next man up mentality. They got the players there. They got the pieces there. They basically promoted from within, so they'll be just fine.
Yeah,
they got the players. They still got the core players, and they'll add defensive end, defensive tackle, and then we'll be good to go.
Yeah, look at David right now. He's got on the Honolulu blue almost. He's wearing like he looks like he's a Lions fan right now.
Tennessee Titan Houston Oiler blue.
Same kind of blue, if you ask me.
Helmet for sale.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it is blue. You know why? Because they always have the blues.
Hey, we do. We got the two-tone blues. It takes it to a whole another level right there. Michigan Eddie, what else do you have for us?
No, I was just calling in, saying hello. Just got back from the hobby. You know, just waiting for Eddie, and thought I'd give you guys a call, listen to you guys, and just.
So you get anything cool? You break them open yet?
No. Ask Brian what he broke today, though. He got a really cool card. I was dropping off a card to get graded. So.
Coach Dave Ford says, "What's up, Michigan Eddie?"
What's up, Coach Dave? I remember him back in the days when he was a broadcaster in Fort Walton Beach.
Every time that we have him on and you're commenting back and forth or whatever, he always says, make sure you tell him I said hello or vice versa, however that it works out. So, you know, great guys there. We got to get Dave Ford.
And make sure, I was at April 27th. You go over to the Bookish Boutique, man, and get a book.
I believe.
And get a book from Dave Ford, all three, and get him to autograph them for you.
Yeah,
great guy.
He wrote like 3 of them.